Welcome into another episode of the Power Hour. I am Steve, of course, joined by my partner, the man lighting that stick. That is the amazing C Red, the urban sensation and the icon. How you doing, Red?
Not good, but
Red's very rarely good, but he's here. He'll do his job. And then, of course, this episode once again filmed in Rion Vision, because over my shoulder here is the real deal. Rion Skills. Can you feel it?
It's cold.
It's cold outside. For those of you that don't know Rion, don't know where you've been, he's everywhere. The Morning After with Max Holiday, that was a show that launched 1,000 shows just like this one. So we got Rion as our special guest contributor. I got C Red, and tonight our guests, the Bad Hombre Cartel. Although it looks like the chicanery has already begun, because I usually like to start the show with the guest. Now, a few weeks ago, we had Christian Rose on this show, and he was late getting home from work. So Red and I started, and Christian joined when he got home. I have no idea where these two idiots are. Xavier Slago said, I'll be there. I'm going to kick your ass verbally. So he's been threatening me all week, sending me hate speak all over social media.
Was that his name for real?
No, it's Xavier Faust. Well, for those of you that don't know the Bad Hombre Cartel, and nobody really watches POW, so why would you know who they are? Ruthless Ramon Rodriguez and Xavier Faust are the two men that make up our would-be invisible guest tonight, the Bad Hombre Cartel. So should they come to this show, I maintain the fact that I'm going to conduct a professional interview. I have seen them work a handful of times. I respect their talents as in-ring performers, and I think the fan base of Power Hour might like to know a little bit more about these fellows.
I would.
So we are going to conduct a civilized interview here. Now, they are POW bastards, so I'm sure things are going to go very, very wrong very, very quickly, but I'm going to be a professional.
if you could have just saw the look that Rion gave you, that's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
I'm used to getting looks from Rion Skills. That is nothing new to me. But since obviously we had a little time to kill, because, maybe we got a whole hour to kill. And you know what? The Power Hour with the three of us is just as good as anything that those asshats could come up with. So
hold on.
are you feeling it?
I'm feeling nervous.
I
don't even know who these people are.
Well,
over here. Wait a
you
minute.
would think Red would be a little more animated about these guests because they attacked him directly. That is the shot that launched this whole war.
You got a crew of people, multiple organizations.
Well, I have a crew of people. I got a crew of people. They just haven't come to my rescue yet. But PL assures me that they're at my beck and call when I need them.
You need to be beckoning and calling.
Oh, well, I'm trying to, you don't want people to get hurt. And if I have to bring PL and Kingpin and John Hudson, who all the connection, I don't want to hurt anybody.
What is happening right now?
We're just let's let Red said, Steve, I'm going to need a few minutes on the show. And since apparently we have more than a few minutes, I'm going to yield to Red for his testimonial about whatever's on his mind. See, Red, you got something on your mind. It's our show. The floor is yours, sir.
You already know. Sunday was, first of all, this was the past weekend for the greatest football postseason ever. If you're a fan of football, there's no way you did not enjoy the 4 games.
I have an opinion about this.
You've got an opinion about it.
I do. It's true.
But with the GOAT.
TB12, is that the GOAT you're referring to?
That's the GOAT.
Tom Brady. Is it the end?
I honestly feel it's the end.
Sean, tell me what. I'm not talking to C-Red. I'm talking to lifetime Tom Brady fan from the minute he was at Michigan all the way through the New England years to the Bucks. Sean Young, tell me why you feel TB12 has thrown his last pass.
What's he got to prove? And I mean, let's be honest, even in this business, one of the things, if you are in sports or in our profession or similar, what do? You a lot of time is taken away from your family, you know, and at the man will be 45 either later on this year. What's he got to prove? You know, he's got a gorgeous wife. He's got kids, you know, that are young enough that he can still enjoy. 7-time Super Bowl champion, all the passing accolades. He holds all the records.
He's
You
better
know,
than he was in New England. That says a lot.
you know. I really don't think, you know, if he comes back, it'll shock me, but I don't think there's no reason for Tom to come back. And trust me, to lose the way he did was heartbreaking because it wasn't on him.
His defense let him down.
Dude, don't get me started. But, you know, it happened. I mean, you know, it is what it is.
Went off a field goal. 3 games that took place.
3 games, yeah. And I
Several in
stated
overtime.
that.
Several in overtime.
You know, 3 went it by a field goal. But then when you thought about it, I honestly thought the Tampa Bay game was going into overtime.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, he was going to do his magic, and that didn't happen. And then we get the Kansas City Bills game, which was bananas. Within the last few minutes, it was a shootout.
It was like watching Warren Moon and Dan Marino. Like it just watching those old school shootouts. That's what it felt like. It felt like an old, you know, gunslinging shootout.
So, but yeah, you know, to answer the question, it is. I believe it's the end. I think we've witnessed the last pass Tom Brady will ever throw. Which again, his last pass was, you know, what it was. You know, he brought him back. So, you know, whenever he officially makes that announcement, if we got a show that week, Rion's gonna have to cover it totally, and it'll just be you two. I'll be under the cover somewhere.
We're renegotiating your contract as we go.
You know, just saying. You know, so
I think you're disappointed, and you have every right to, because Brady did what Brady always does and gave his team a shot to win, and we thought it was overtime. And usually Tom Brady overcomes in these situations, but the defense was soft. They played idiotic coverages, and it allowed.
I don't think they were soft. Again, I think the defense was decent until that passed the cup. It was supposed to be an all blitz, and 2 people, for whatever reason, didn't get the
Chicago
call.
Bears. We still suffer the repercussions of the Randall Cobb, Chris Conti miscue from many moons ago. Here's why I don't think Tom Brady's done, because Tom Brady was as productive and accurate as he's ever been. And him sitting there on that bench, realizing there was no control of his that could have changed the direction of that. I mean, obviously he got off to a slow start, and they'd love to have the first half back, but he played Brady ball in the second half as well as he's ever played it. And I just think a guy like him, who is ageless and still in fine physical condition, he has said before that if his body can handle it, he wants to play till 50. And I don't think a disappointing loss is going to dissuade him from wanting to hold that impossible record of playing 50 at 50 in the NFL. Will he make 5 more years? I don't know. If anybody can, it's Tom Brady. But I just don't, the way they went out, I don't think that Tom Brady's, I don't think he can let it rest.
He's got something that some, I'm not going to say most, I'm going to say some don't have. And that's a wife. And when you have a wife,
well, look, it's not,
and she tells you,
no,
I think it's time.
Different kind of wife.
No,
got it right.
because she's already stated publicly that she told him she doesn't like it when he gets hit. And let's be honest, Sunday he got hit.
He got
hit. Constantly.
30-year-old Brady. That was 4-year-old.
Right. That was different. Right. 30-year-old Brady be like, oh, okay, let's go. If you notice, Sunday, 44-year-old Brady was like,
Tom Brady got his first personal foul. That situation where he's mouthing off. That was
because he was upset. So I
got fire in his belly. He is not done.
I think
they will fix the defense. They will bring him more weapons, and Tom Brady will be back in the Super Bowl next year. If he's not, I hope he goes to coaching, and I hope he comes to Chicago. Because
the only thing I can see him doing is going to the Jets.
Yeah.
And resurrecting that place. But
so he's going to go on a tour where he goes to teams and resurrects them.
You know what? Somebody,
Messiah, right?
But so I don't know if you guys watch, but pardon the interruption, not pardon the interruption. One of those shows, they asked, was Tom Brady going to stay to do a farewell tour? And I'm like, I don't think that should be a thing now. You know,
I don't think he needs it.
He doesn't, like, again, let him be,
Fred,
let him be.
I hate to cut you off, but the inevitable is occurring right now. Only 13 minutes late, which is fantastic. So let's welcome in Xavier Faust to the program, one half of the Bad Hombre Cartel. And there he is. Welcome to the program, Mr. Xavier Faust. How are you this evening?
Enjoying my afternoon there, Steve-O.
For those of you that don't know, Xavier Faust, one half of the Bad Hombre Cartel, along with Ruthless Ramon Rodriguez, who obviously is not joining us this evening. And you're late.
He's got better things to do than entertain your stupid questions.
And we're glad you're here. We're happy that you're interacting with us, even though we're all somewhat at war. Now, I want to talk about the Bad Hombre Cartel for a moment. Is it true that your tag team title was inspired by Donald Trump?
Yes.
I mean, was it the attack on the nation's capital that got you into that name?
I was way before then, Steve. Oh. Way before then.
When he was talking on his many wives, was it that time?
No, it's not when he was trying to reach for the old pussy. No, it was way before then.
He's talking about cats. Donald Trump is a cat enthusiast.
Yeah, definitely a cat enthusiast. It was when he was running for office, and he happened to mention something about bad hombres crossing the border, basically alienating all the Hispanics. And guess what? We're proud bad hombres.
Well, that's a very interesting way to get a nickname, and I appreciate that. That's very clever indeed.
You got any more stupid questions?
Well, I don't know if they're stupid questions, but I do have.
Just remember this, Steve. You ask stupid questions, you're gonna get stupid answers.
Well, I would expect nothing less. So you've been in this business 14 years. Is that correct?
Sounds about right.
I ask a lot of people when they come on this show. I've asked C-Red before. I've asked Rion Skills before. What got little tiny embryonic, no pun intended, Xavier Faust into wrestling?
What?
Really? You're gonna go ahead and put the question out like that and expect me not to get offended?
I'm just asking a very small question.
See, this is why I wanted to drink during this. I knew you were going to ask stupid questions.
What got me into pro wrestling? What got you into wrestling?
Are you going to let me answer the question?
I would love you to answer it.
Well, what got me into pro wrestling? Let's go all the way back to Roddy Piper. I like the assholes. I talk a lot of shit.
Well, then you're in the right place, my friend.
There you go.
So what was the moment when small Xavier saw something in wrestling that got him hooked? What was that moment that got your teeny tiny little body flailing about wrestling?
There you go again. See, are we gonna do this the entire interview?
I assumed you were a child when you were smaller than you are now. I assume.
Are we gonna do this the entire interview?
No,
you were
I'm just
talking about low-hanging fruit once. Do you want me to start with the fat jokes now, or you wait till a little bit later?
Well, usually C-Red and company don't wait too long, so I'm used to it.
Gotcha. I'll save some of those for a little bit later.
I appreciate
it. I'll entertain your dumbass question just for now. I can't even remember the moment that inspired myself to get into pro wrestling because there's just so many. So instead of a moment, I'm probably just gonna mention some of the wrestlers that I grew up idolizing. I already mentioned Roddy Piper. There's Bret Hart. There's Kurt Angle. There's obviously, when you call yourself the Bad Hombre, there's only one original Bad Hombre. That's Eddie Guerrero. So there you go.
Right. No doubt about that. I agree with that 100%. What about characters like the Haiti Kid? I mean, was that part of your development?
Definitely not.
No? Because I'm a fan of the Haiti Kid, aren't you? It's history. Anyway.
I see where he's going with this. Go ahead.
Not going
Go ahead, try.
Talk about your training. When I know Steve Red, obviously, he talks about how important his training has been to him and how it saved his life. How did your training come about and whom trained you?
You guys, some of you guys may remember this name, but we're talking about the great Malachi. You see, Ryan's shaking his head. Yes. Steve, I don't know if you remember that name.
No, I have a very short attention span. Did he call you Ryan?
It's close enough.
That's Rion.
Ryan, yeah, same thing.
Tomato. Yeah, I get that. Okay.
It's before your time.
I don't know if there's anything before my time, quite honestly, but that's neither here nor there. POW Entertainment. Number one, how did the Bad Hombre Cartel come together? Number one, how did you become partners? What was the story, the origin story of the group? And how did you end up in POW?
Well, again, the great Malachi, myself, we were in a different group at the time. And I
what was
met,
the name of that group?
It was called the Hellfire Symphony. Long time ago. Made up of myself, the great Malachi, and the great Cheyenne. I don't know if you know any of those names.
Cheyenne, yeah.
See? He's saying yes over there. So I like him now. But you, Steve, you're still on my shit list. But
I live on that for most people, so I'm totally okay.
You smell about that too.
I've heard it.
When we came into POW, I actually met Ruthless Ramon when he was training, and we became pretty good friends. And over the years, just being exposed to the business and being screwed over by company after company, not giving us the, what we actually deserve. We knew we were good, but we weren't shown that we were good. And after a while of basically just bottom feeding, so to speak, we decided, screw this shit. Why don't we just get together and show everyone exactly what we're all about? And we ended up together, and we haven't looked back ever since.
So that's a great story. I enjoy the origins of things. It's nice to see where you started, where you've been, and where you're going. Now, when you said bottom feeders, you were speaking directly about POW?
We're talking about every company that we're going into. If it wasn't somewhere where we're like basically treated the way we were supposed to. See, we used to work at companies where, what do I say, minorities were accepted a little bit better. You wouldn't understand anything about that, Steve, we were treated well in certain locations, but others we weren't.
Call me a Nazi. I am not a Nazi.
I didn't say a Nazi, but if the shoe fits, Steve.
That's awful for you to typecast me and do that. That's terrible.
You're the one that started using that.
22. Word. I will not be. I will not be. No, I will not be.
I'm kind of shocked you didn't wear your MAGA hat to this interview.
MAGA. You're the one named after Trump's right?
Look, here, wear this hat.
No, I don't want to wear that hat. Because Captain America's white too. I'm sure he's got a problem with that.
Fine. It's totally fine.
Blue eye, tall.
So when I meant bottom feeding, I meant that's what pretty much POW consists of. So that's why you're at home there.
See, I was expecting eventually this was going to come out. But let me ask you a question, fat boy. What is it that you have a problem with Powell for, huh?
Well, you know what? I'll be honest with you, and I'll
Go ahead, tell me
for a minute. When the exchange occurred initially, one of the first things that happened that created this little police action was the attack that you and Ruthless perpetrated on my partner.
Okay, let's back up. Let's hold on for a quick second. That happened way after the ambush that
I don't know if they got,
that happened over at a Powell show.
Not so sure.
Hey, but hey, I want to hear, because I need to know, and everybody watching needs to know. So let the man speak, because I want to know what led up to this whole thing. So please continue.
Red, how are you, Red? Huh?
I'm good, but I want to know. So you said before that there was something that transpired at Powell. So what transpired?
Red, before I get into that, you and I both come from the same kind of upbringings. And both you and I have been in neighborhoods where you got to survive. So I can understand that you know where I'm going to be coming from this. It was business. It was nothing more than that. When the lines were drawn and a war was declared, you were just simply on the other side, man. That was it. Nothing more.
And I get that, but you already stated that before that took place,
yes,
something else happened before.
Yes. Are you guys forgetting the fact that all of SCW showed up on a Friday night episode of Powell and just basically ambushed the entire locker room and put Scott Spade down? Are you guys forgetting that happened way before we attacked?
I certainly remember.
Oh, I'm sorry. Was that
Steve? So Steve, you knew about this?
I did. Yeah, that was a retaliation for what had transpired previous. That Scott Spade and Dominions and
what happened after?
Don't let Uncle Jimmy twist it. Don't let your puppet master speak for you.
So
started this.
So let me get this clear. So before the attack,
Hunter and the rest of his stooges showed up over there and made the attack. We basically were just retaliating. That was all. Nothing more.
In the
nothing
locker
personal.
Room. So was this in the locker room? Was this in the ring?
It was in the ring.
Okay.
They came in, they smashed, and they left. Red.
And Hunter was there, right?
Red?
Hunter was there, right?
Yes.
Okay.
I see where you're going with this too. And by the way,
I hope you do, because here's the thing. And Steve is quick to sit up here and defend the company. And even though I had to put my guy against a Powell guy at our last show, here's my issue. With all of this war going on, Steve, why don't I see Hunter Payne in a match with any Powell guys?
You know,
because he's scared. That's because he's scared. He's got an agenda. He's twisted every single one of the locker room stooges, basically, is all they are. He's twisted them all up in his own little agenda. And you know what?
But what's that agenda? Because I'm trying to figure it out. Is he mad that he asked Jimmy for a booking and didn't get it? I'm trying to figure it out, because every card since then, he's Mr. SCW, but I don't see him stand face to face against anybody.
Let me ask you this, Red. When Powell defended themselves at Wrestle Rage and SCW came out, what did Powell do? We all came out, did we not? Powell all came out. The entire locker room emptied out, did we not? We came out to defend our turf. Jimmy, dead center, came out and basically led the troops out, did he not? I'm sure you've seen videos. I'm wondering if Hunter's got the balls to do that.
Well,
I don't think so.
I'm wondering myself.
You know what? I have been one of the most vocal supporters of SCW throughout.
No shit, really?
The most? No, dude. It's fucked up that you're leading the damn charge.
Believe me,
that's
exactly what everybody's saying. Exactly. Thank you.
Why are you leading the charge? If SCW is the house that Hunter Payne built, why is the commentator leading the damn charge? Now,
let me ask you this, Red.
Let you say it. You saw what happened. It's for me. You're leading the charge because of what happened. I appreciate that. I love you for it. But where is the great Hunter Payne?
I'll answer this question.
Please.
I will give you some clarity here.
Please.
And I'm going to appeal to Rion because I think Rion has been working with me longer than anybody because he was there the night I made my first wrestling appearance ever. Rion knows that everywhere I go, I do everything I can to help and put over a company. Is that fair?
That's fair.
I will sacrifice my body if needed. Is that fair?
So
All right.
basically what you're saying is that anybody that's fronting the bill, you're going to support. It doesn't take much to buy your loyalty. So what you're telling me is that you're nothing more than a prostitute.
No. Well, I mean, no, not really a prostitute. I have a lot of pride.
That's exactly what you just said. Yeah, that's what you said.
I'm gonna give
You're
you
one ugly prostitute, might I add.
I'm gonna give you a example that maybe you can understand. You were talking
Ryan, you're enjoying yourself back there?
You were talking earlier about how when you started, you were looking for a fair shake and you didn't have many great opportunities till you got to the promised land. Did I hear you correctly?
Sounds about right.
It sounds about right.
You're paying attention.
Well, you're a wrestler. You're a trained professional wrestler. So I respect you as an athlete. Okay. I had to claw and climb and do the shittiest of jobs to get anywhere in this business because I'm not trained. All I have is my mouth. All I have is my ability.
Most prostitutes, they also have one of those.
Fair point. I knew that was coming. Yeah. You knew that too, right?
That was
so
layup.
My point
you handed it to me. I had to do it.
I appreciate that. My point is, unless I do everything in my power to be effective and do my job, I don't have opportunities. So when I come to work at a place, I take my job seriously and I do it 1000%. We should all have work ethic like that.
And I appreciate that. See, there are things about you that I do appreciate, but let me ask you this. Does SCW appreciate that?
I was going there next. Thank you for the segue. That was well timed. I have been left on an island by SCW. Red has mentioned it. You have mentioned it repeatedly. Even that crusty old fossil Jimmy Blaze has mentioned it. I don't know
what you say about Jimmy. I may not dig the guy.
Look, that man put his boots all over me. He hit me with a bat. He hit me with a crutch. He kicked my ass.
All deserved, might I add.
Well, I don't know if it's deserved. I never laid a hand on anybody.
Steve, everything that you type on social media, every single word that comes out of your mouth.
Isn't that what we do?
Smells like shit.
Yeah, you smell like shit. But little shit.
And every single one of those things that you've said, what do you think they've done? They've basically painted the biggest target on you. Exactly what Red said. SCW, that's supposed to be Hunter. But well, you're the one with the biggest target because you run your mouth. And guess what? We like to kick it.
Fair point, and I accept that, and I will accept any ass kicking coming my way. I won't run.
Plenty more, I can guarantee you.
But I'll tell you this: your boss, Jimmy Blaze, he wrote a check. I'm going to cash it.
Who's going to back you up for it? What are you?
I'm not worried about back.
Stop. Because Steve, I want you to really hear what you just said. And this is why I've got a problem. A fucking big problem. That's why I dropped his dead ass.
Well, no, you got to stay, Rion. Rion's
I want
leaving
you
the
to-
show. Come on.
Hey, you pissed off.
Hey, this ain't about Rion.
He's not.
It's
pissed
not
off.
about. It's not about Rion. It's about
Have a
the
good night,
simple
Rion.
fact you're sitting there talking about you're willing to go face to face with Jimmy Blaze. Whether people like him or not, you're willing to go toe to toe.
Absolutely.
But the face of SCW has yet to fucking get in Jimmy Blaze's face. Where the fuck is he at?
About to leave.
I'm
We've
damn
taken your
tired. I'm damn tired of, and don't get it twisted, Steve. If that's how you feel, you're passionate about it, that's fine. But this war, again, where the fuck is Hunter? Yeah, he can go and jump people, but yet I haven't seen him go to PAL and get in a ring and have a match with anybody. I haven't seen him get in the ring at SCW and fight Scott Spade, Tiny, Ruthless Ramon. Nobody. But he's the fucking face of SCW. And let's be honest, ever since that shit started, my wheels have been turning. Was it a coincidence that Pal jumped me and he magically got out the ring? That he left Celine to be the sacrifice lamb? Really? Really? I mean, now I could be 100% wrong.
You're definitely paranoid, Red, but I can see where you're going with this too.
I mean, Steve, maybe it's me, maybe I don't know. And later we'll get into the card for Arctic Throwdown this Saturday.
That would be Arctic Takeover.
Who's taking over? I want to fucking know.
Well, we'll discuss that.
I'll tell you this much: the cat's been out of the bag for a while. Jimmy Blaze is going to be there, and so is Pow. So go ahead. You put the dots together. Who's taking over?
Xavier, you've been a fine guest, and I appreciate you coming on here, even though you have a fair amount of disdain for me. But I booked this interview as a tag team. Where the hell's Ramon?
You don't worry about where Ramon is, okay?
I mean, did he not get the information, the Zoom information?
He got the information.
Because
he maybe just chose not to be here. He doesn't want to waste his time on you.
May I intervene for 1 second?
Go ahead, Rion, whatever your name is. Go ahead.
If Mr. Ramon shows up, I'm leaving. I'm just letting everybody know. If he shows up here, I'm taking off.
You're not going to help me?
I've been in enough fights.
What do you work at SCW now?
I don't, and I have no beef.
Because you know when people kick my ass, SCW runs away the other way.
I've given and taken enough ass whoopings to know when to walk away, and I feel like if it comes to your doorstep, you should.
But Steve, think about what you just said.
Matter of time.
Every time you've got into any squabble, the SCW locker room goes that way. Why is that?
Let's face it, Red.
Locker room, not in the locker room. I don't count.
They're not on par with the Power locker room. The moment we show up, they tuck their tail and run. They're just a bunch of pussies.
You're right.
I would never argue a man's opinion. It is his. I don't know why it's come to this. I was very proud to be a member of SCW's locker room and the company. I was very proud to do my thing on a monthly basis, sometimes bi-monthly when you count Steam Hollow. And I'm contractually obligated this Saturday night in Shabance, also contractually obligated in February. But after February, my commitment to SCW is up and not sure I'm going back. but I will do my job to the best of my abilities between now and then. I am a professional. I will fulfill my duties with the zeal and passion that I do all of my business. And I do that out of respect for President Terry Allen, not the rest of the locker room that have tucked tail and run every time I've needed help when I've been there for them. I was there in moments when Powell showed up 15 strong and beat up a bunch of rookies and ruined a birthday party.
That was pretty fun.
Oh, it was, yeah. I got beat up by everybody. I got beat up.
When we turned old Steve
yeah.
into the Phantom of the Opera for a while, huh?
I did sustain an eye injury, and I got, my back is not exactly right since the work of Mistress Misery. Powell has gotten over on me twice.
The kendo stick.
The kendo stick.
Okay. All right. I'm keeping up.
So, I haven't inflicted any damage other than verbally on Powell, but they have physically accosted me twice, and backup has been negligible. So maybe
Steve, you're not the only one that we've gone out after. I mean, come on. Where's JPH? He's gone. Not coming back. Probably ever. He's afraid. We took his title. Terry saw a loophole and took it back, but the damage was done. JPH is gone. That was your best soldier for the SCW Army, and we took him right out. Who's left? Who's left in SCW that can do anything?
Boy, it's hard to know who's doing what and what's happening.
You think the family is going to do anything? They're not going to do anything.
I can't speak for Charlie Jr. I certainly can't speak for my partner, C. Red. If I were you, I would not involve the ARC in any of the shenanigans because there are too many of them out there for you guys to handle.
But Steve, here's the problem, Steve. Here's the problem. Let's go back to our last show, right? The main event is the sharpshooter, correct?
That's right.
Versus Hunter Payne, right?
That is correct.
That's another guy
winner
that got his ass kicked and didn't do anything about it.
The winner of that,
huh?
The winner of that match takes on Scott Spade this Saturday, right?
It's a number one contenders match. High stakes.
I sat next to you or stood next to you.
You did?
I should say. Didn't you find it kind of odd? Hunter could have pinned him at any time.
He beat the snot out of him.
At any time. And he decided enough and gets out the ring and more or less hands the victory to the sharpshooter.
Yeah, I've never seen a voluntary count out before. Did find that a little bit odd.
Well, I've known of it one other time, but that was a long time ago in another universe.
I was there for that.
Yes, you were. I
love it when you remember stuff.
But
joyous.
So why? This could have been it, right? This could have been the defining moment, right?
Payne versus Spade.
There you go. But he backed out.
He forfeited his opportunity to give it to the young.
But it's not like he forfeited because, I twisted my ankle, my knee, I tore my ACL, nothing.
He did it for the people.
Really? For the people.
That's what he had you believe.
He did it for the people?
And you just said it.
Steve, but you're not that stupid.
You just said it. As he would want the folks to believe. So now I'm one. And I told you, I've been wondering since this all history inspired. Like,
Red, let me ask you a question, Red. You know exactly how dangerous Scott Spade can be. You've been around this business long enough, and you know him. I know you do. What do you think? What do you think are the chances of the sharpshooter against Spade when he's pissed off that you guys stole the belt from him? What do you think's gonna happen to him? Huh? He's walking into SCW a pissed off Ace of Spades. I wouldn't want to be the sharpshooter.
I wouldn't want to be the sharpshooter either because it's not one-on-one. It's
Don't
like
fucking agree with me, Steve. What's wrong with you?
But
Really?
here's
and it hurts.
but here's the problem, Steve, and you're not getting it. You just stated it. Okay, Scott Spade comes out with the mistress and Tiny, correct?
And sometimes Cody James.
And sometimes Cody James. And guess what? We also know Jimmy Blaze will be there, correct?
And probably the cosplay commissioner will be there too.
So, but we know TA will be there.
We hope
But
TA will
we
be
hope. Well, I'm quite sure our boss will be there.
I
But
hope
here's
so.
the thing. Here's the thing. If Hunter is the face of SCW, why didn't he take this match so he can rally the troops and have everybody behind him to even the numbers? You see what I'm saying?
I do, but he wanted to give the opportunity to the young
He doesn't
line.
have the ball, Steve. That's all.
He wants to give the, but again, Steve, you've never been in war. So I wouldn't expect you to understand. But understand, when I was in war, there did come a point in time, as my life is on the line, what crossed my head is I'm fighting a fucking war for somebody that's sitting in the fucking back. They're sitting back in the United States in a warm bed, and he is fine. Nothing is going to happen to him. He's not worried about it. Oh, well. And I wonder, what the fuck am I doing here? Guess what? Same fucking scenario.
Red, I'm pretty sure you're not the only person from that locker room thinking that. See, eventually, they're all going to smarten up just like you did. They're all going to realize that Hunter's feeding them all a load of crap. Whatever his agenda is with Powell and Jimmy Blaze, eventually it'll be exposed, and everyone from that locker room will realize that basically he's not got no balls and he needs them to do his dirty work. Until then, the Bad Hombre Cartel, Scott Spade, and the rest of Powell, we're going to do what we've been doing all along, and that's kicking all your asses.
I'm still, like I said, I'm still SCW. I'm still.
That's because somebody hasn't paid you more. That's all. Otherwise, you'd be gone. We know what you're about.
Wow. I don't necessarily agree with that. I'm going to let it go, but I don't agree.
So
like
let me get this straight. If I were to call Jimmy Blaze right now and he offers you just a little bit more than your SCW contract gives you, you wouldn't fly? Huh? You wouldn't jump to the other side?
I don't think he'd have to offer me more. I'm pretty disenchanted.
You really are a cheap prostitute after all.
I'm pretty disenchanted with things right now. Keep getting my ass kicked and towing the company line. So I don't know if money is what would make me jump ship. But again, we're talking ludicrous because, why would I want to work for a person who I want to, beat up?
I want to beat up Hunter Payne, but I've done a couple SCW shows, so there you go.
Well, I guess agree to disagree. And Red made an interesting point about, being in a war and being in the trenches and wondering about who's sitting back in the United States, sitting down, having dinner while you're fighting war for them. That thought has crossed my mind, at least as it relates to me. And by the way, Red, thank you for your service. If we don't do that enough as it is. Back to Ruthless Ramon.
What do you want to know, Steve? Huh? What other stupid question you got up your sleeve?
Well, here's the thing. I don't like you. That's clear. You don't like me. But I respect you. I respect your career. I respect what you do. I think you're outstanding at what you do. And you showed up here. You were late, but you showed up on this show.
I was getting myself a drink, something way more important than this show.
Clearly, you called us the douchebag hour, and that's fine. We're not for everyone. But you were here, as advertised. You made a commitment and you honored it. I respect that. I appreciate that. Ruthless Ramon did not.
Do you want Ruthless? Is that what you want?
I have a problem with that.
You want Ruthless. You want Ruthless. Okay. All right, Steve.
I don't know if I want him, but I expect people to honor their commitments.
Look, dude, if he shows up,
you thought that was him.
Away.
You thought those plates
were. I will walk away.
You thought.
I will walk away.
You thought those.
I'm not even joking. If the man shows up,
wait, he's back. He's back now. He's back now.
You want Ruthless?
He was supposed to be on this show.
Look, Steve. When Ruthless does come on, if he decides to go on, you may not like what he's going to say to you.
Listen, I don't like what you've had to say to me. I'm not expecting I'm going to enjoy it. But when I book a guest, I expect them to show up. I just respect you. You honored your commitment. Your partner, not so much.
Steve, we're in war. So what does it matter if it's just one member of the cartel or 1,000? You got the cartel right here. Okay? You've asked your stupid questions. I've answered some of them. Do you have anything else? Are you going to ask anything else of any value?
Okay, I will ask another question since we've got time. Not been quite an hour. And since you were late, I got time. Where does this go from here?
That's
what is the Bad Hombre Cartel? What's your end game with this?
The end of the war is what you're expecting me to answer. What's next for the Bad Hombre Cartel after the war? Well, that's simple. A lot of you guys are carrying a little bit of gold, and maybe some of that gold will look great around Ramon's waist.
Are you talking about tag team action, or are you talking about singles competition?
We're looking at all the titles. Doesn't have to be tag titles, but Genesis title.
Oh, well, looky what we have.
And when
here.
we take that belt, it's not going to be called the SCW belt after that. Definitely not. We're going to rechristen that bad boy, the Bad Hombre Cartel Genesis title. That's exactly what's going to happen. We're going to go ahead. We're going to defend it everywhere, not just in Shabanzi.
I believe that is a present. So joining us on the program is the other half of the Bad Hombre Cartel, Ruthless Ramon. Ruthless Ramon, thank you very much for taking time out of your busy schedule to join us
Ramon
on this program. Thank you. And you're a little bit late, but I'm sure you've got plenty on your mind. And he's gone. And now he's back.
First of all, gentlemen, you're welcome. You're welcome. The fact that me and Xavier even came on this little Mickey Mouse show.
I do appreciate it.
Hey, Red, it's good to see you. Good to see you're doing well, man. I mean, seeing it as the last time we saw each other, you were a little choked up. But Red,
the last time you saw me, the last time you saw me, your bitch ass jumped me from behind.
You see, Red, I was just gonna tell you that
I don't give a fuck. Understand. See, as your partner has already stated, understand, I'm not Steve. I live in fucking Inglewood. Well, guess what, son? The body count is higher than your sperm count. So, all that bullshit you talking can keep walking. See, you can be there Saturday, but don't be no bitch. Don't do that. Don't do that shit from the back. You want to be a man? Hey, you know where to find me.
Are you done, Red?
Come to the front.
It seems like Steve isn't the only emotional one around here.
I saw that coming.
See, Red, I was just gonna say, Red, that I just wanted to tell you that it was nothing personal, Red. It was just
I don't give a. You made it fucking personal.
No.
Personal.
Your so-called leader.
See, you made it personal.
So-called
fuck all that.
It
It was just business and all that other shit. You made it personal. You put your hands on me, son. On me.
If you're not gonna let me talk, I might as well jump off this.
Red, let's give Ruthless. I mean, he's our guest. Let's give him the respect he deserves to say what he has to say.
You wanted Ruthless, you got him.
And I
Red,
appreciate it.
I was simply gonna say, Red, that it's nothing personal, just business. Business that your leader of SCW, Hunter Payne, started. But Red, I know how much you don't like to sell the fact what we did to you. You still acknowledge it, and I respect that so much. I mean, I wish I could say the same about your big mouth, emotional keyboard warrior of a co-host. Steve, I know how much you despise to be called that, Steve.
I do.
But that's exactly what you are.
Is it?
It's exactly what you are, Steve, because all you do, Steve, every single day is you hide behind a keyboard and you talk shit about Powell, about Jimmy Blaze, about Scott Spade, about Xavier Swaggle. Cute.
I think it's cute.
You see, Steve, that's your problem. You don't know when to shut up. You see, Steve, but the minute, and the thing is, I was gonna let Xavier sit back. I was gonna sit back and let you and Xavier go back and forth with your little back and forth match and let him take care of you. But the second you mention the Bad Hombre Cartel, that's when you spit my name out your mouth. You see, because the Bad Hombre Cartel, it's not just Xavier, it's Xavier and me. So when you mentioned the Bad Hombre Cartel, the BHC, you were talking shit about me. Now I take it personal. You see, your problem, Steve, is more shit comes out of your mouth than it does out of your ass. And that's your problem because you can't back it up. You depend on guys like Hunter Payne in the SCW locker room to back you up, Steve, but where were they? They were nowhere to be found. You know, see, Red, I respect the fact that you saw right through Hunter Payne's bullshit. You did what you had to do. You walked away and you didn't look back. Smart. That's smart. You see, Steve, but you continue to run your mouth day in and day out, Steve. And this Saturday might be your last day at SCW, so you say. Hell, I don't even know if I'm going to go back to that shithole of company. But eventually, Steve, mine and your paths, they're going to cross.
I would
and
say
when
that,
they
sure.
do, and when they do, tengo una chingazo que te espera, puto. Translate that. You
He
see,
called you a bitch, Steve.
and as far as the SCW locker room goes, think twice about who you're really standing behind, the man you're defending. Hunter Payne, hell, he's a selfish prick. He's only in business for himself. All he cares about is putting himself over. I mean, hell, look what he did to C-Red. I'm sorry, look what we did to C-Red, but what did he do? Nothing. His only concern were losing his tag team titles. He can care less about his manager. How about you, Steve? How about you? Not once, but twice. He fed you to the wolves and did nothing. He made you look stupid. Como un pinche pendejo. That's what he made you look like.
I know what that means too.
So as far as the SCW locker room goes, think about, do you really want to stand behind a selfish prick like Hunter Payne? I mean, if he could just walk over his manager and feed him to the wolves, if he could just, even though, Steve, even though you're a big mouth, I mean, hell, you raise that SCW flag high and proud. You are the voice of SCW. And what did he do? He fed you to the wolves and just walked away. I mean, if he could do that to his manager and his voice, what's he going to do to the rest of the locker room? So this Saturday, Jimmy's going to be there. Yeah, I mean, I know he ain't going to be alone. I mean, I'm not sure if I'll be there, but you never know. But when Jimmy shows up and the Powell locker room shows up, and they take out SCW once again. And Hunter Payne is standing behind the curtain, just watching him take out each and every one of his men. Ask yourself something. Is this really the guy we want to stand for? Is this really the guy we want to fight for? You see, because Hunter Payne started a battle that he knows SCW is going to lose. Salud, cabrones.
You wanted him, Steve. There you go. You wanted Ruthless, and there you go. Is that what you wanted? Huh? Is that what you wanted?
Yeah, that's what I wanted.
Okay. Let me tell you this. Everything is fair in love and war, right? That's the old saying, right?
So it would seem.
Oh, the Bad Hombre Cartel sure as hell doesn't love each and every one of those members of the SCW locker room. So that just leaves us with war. At the end of this, Powell's going to be victorious. You've already seen glimpses of it. Red, he's already chosen a side. He's distanced himself from Hunter. I think the smart thing for you to do is to shut up, leave SCW, that way you don't get hurt. As far as the rest of the locker room goes, go ahead and follow Hunter all the way till you get your ass kicked one too many times where your beaten, battered body just can't do it anymore. Jimmy's gonna be there. And I hope you have the balls that you claim you have to stand right face to face to him. Because when he's done, he may not be psychotic much more these days, but I bet he still has enough to beat the shit out of you right in front of the entire fan base. What are you gonna do, Steve? Huh? You know what? As far as I'm concerned, this interview's over.
Steve, answer that question.
Which question are you referring to?
How are you going to feel? Jimmy Blaze is there and he gets in your face and Hunter Payne is nowhere to be seen. And I'm not saying that because I already know you, Steve. I've worked with you too long and I already know you. You might not be a wrestler, but you are a man. So I know you're going to go down swinging. You're going to go down fighting. You are not a bitch. But when it's all said and done, and you look up, is Hunter Payne going to be there? Because guess what? He wasn't there for me. And I mean, we're speaking facts. None of this bullshit is fabricated. When I got jumped, he voluntarily walks away, fighting the good fight. Yeah, right. Believes me and Celine to the wolves.
Fact.
You get attacked at a party.
Left her hanging hard.
But
She got beat by all of Evil Gains and Evil twice.
But where was Hunter?
Gone.
And you got a jacked up eye and cornea and all of that, correct?
Yep, that's all true.
Every time we turn around, the leader of SCW is nowhere to be found. And here's the frustrating part. Our president has tried to keep a lid on this as best as fucking possible. But guess what? when it comes to soldiers, I mean, again, look at this from a military standpoint. Our president is our chief officer, right?
Yes.
The rest of us are supposed to be in the trenches, right?
Commander in chief. Yes, we're in the trenches.
Where the fuck is Hunter?
War room.
See, Red, I will commend you. Watching you tear down Ruthless Ramon made my heart happy because I love the fire in you. That's why when people just call you a manager and they don't talk about how you fight and how you wrestle, it pisses me off. I think you could kick half the asses, if not more, that work where we work, everywhere we work. And some people are going to find out the hard way that age ain't only just a number when it comes to you.
But Steve, this ain't about that. This is at the end of the day. At the end of the day, Steve, you got better shit to do. I got better shit to do. Right or wrong?
Right.
It's one thing, and it's nice that Rion is here, and Rion can contest. I have started a lot of shit throughout the years.
Yes, I've seen it.
So there's a difference when I start shit. It's either I finish it or I get finished. Either me and my crew handle our business, or guess what? We come out on the losing end. It's one of the two. But I started. Here's a war that you didn't start and I didn't start. Yet, we're in the fucking middle of it. We're in the heat of it. We're in the thick of it. And where's everybody else?
Maybe the White Phenom shows up on Saturday.
I'm not even sure if people get that reference, Steve.
Look at Fire Pro. Look at Fire Pro Wrestling on the swing is going to make you cry. Okay. I got berated by my guests and I let them talk. And I tried to be a professional and I asked the questions and tried to conduct with some civility, and it didn't work. And everybody has effectively called me a bitch to my face. Everybody. Even in your own way, you kind of called me a bitch. And I respect that because I get where you're coming from. And where is Hunter Payne? That's a fair question. There are a lot of questions that Arctic Takeover is going to have to try to answer. I don't know if it can. My zeal for waving the SCW flag has waned somewhat because I can't keep standing up when I keep getting knocked down. Pow's right to a certain extent. I talk a lot of stuff because I believed it at the beginning. I'm not sure what I believe right now, but I believe that I will be there on Saturday, and I believe that I will do my best in the interests of SCW. I believe Hunter Payne is a good man, and I believe he will be there this Saturday as well, but time will tell. Either way, we've got a hell of a card this Saturday in Shabance.
You believe it?
I'm sorry?
You believe it?
I hope.
Well, let's be honest. Let's run down the card. Let's run down the card.
Like fucking Mulder, I want to believe.
Let's
that fucking X-Files tonight, man. I don't even you're Scully.
Let's run down the card, Steve. And let's call it for what it is. And maybe you'll see a coincidence that when the SCW office sent us this card,
yeah,
there was something in there that really made me scratch my head.
Are you talking about the return of Elite Pain? Are you speaking of that match?
Yeah.
Elite Pain will be in action. Marco Anthony returns to Shabance this Saturday night, teaming with his partner, the aforementioned many times, Hunter Payne. Will be in Shabance, and he will be fighting in tag team action against Axel Abrato and Nikki Vendetta.
Now, I'm not saying anything against Vendetta and Axel. Never seen them,
right?
Where they're from?
You don't know where they're from?
No.
It starts with a P and ends with an ow.
So he finally finds Marco from under a rock all these months.
Robin, the boy wonder, returns to Shabance.
And instead of
like Burt Ward in 1966.
And instead of fighting for the title of the company. Okay, go ahead.
Evil Gaines Neville will put the tag team titles on the line against the mysterious tag team from across the U.S. known as Dysfunction.
This won't be for the pretty. This match, I definitely
shortest title reign in tag team title history in SCW.
Well, you want the shortest title reign, and this will be the one time where maybe I can't disagree with you. Dysfunction has been dysfunction all across the United States. They are two gentlemen that they are unhinged.
They are unhinged.
So
the evil genius better have a plan, and John Hudson better work on those gains, because if they are not at the top of their form, they're going to get got.
All I'm going to say is I called a match this past weekend, and I told you on this very show last week who would be new tag titles, who would hold the belts. I called that shot.
You did.
I'm not calling this one.
We will talk about CSW momentarily.
I won't call this
one.
In
action this Saturday night in Shabance, the women's champ Angel made one of the dumbest career moves of her illustrious career by picking a fight with the Amazon Natasha Crane. Now, not only is Natasha Crane significantly larger than Angel, but she is in a foul mood after the Sheik worked her over and turned on the Alliance of Hope.
But here's the problem. You're saying she's in a foul mood, or is she heartbroken, Steve? Think about all that Natasha Crane, she had embodied the Alliance of Hope. She believed in it. She loved it. And just like that, the Sheik broke everything down. So guess what? Is she really going into Saturday with her head fully there? Or now does she have to put her head on a swivel and not look out just for Evil Gaines Neville, but the Sheik?
That's a fair point. Once again, maybe Angel and the Evil Gaines Neville have the psychological edge. Should be a great match either way. We have the family being represented with babyface killer Jake Andrews will take on a member of the POW locker room in, how do you pronounce that? Krazizzle?
Your guess is good as mine. I couldn't.
There are a lot of consonants in that name, but I have seen him on the flyers at Rumples and T-Woods and all those backwater towns that POW operates in. So he's coming to SCW, and he's going to have to tussle with the babyface killer. Jake wins in a walk. Jake is too damn good to be bothered by this nonsense, and will make short work of Kryzyle. One vowel, just one.
The question now remains, will Jake be by himself, or does the family show up in full force? I have to wonder.
I don't know. I have not talked to Ivan Manson of late, so I don't know if he'll be there. Charlie Jr. won't take my calls, but that's always been that way. So there's that. Also, matches that are happening. We've got a return match as VJ Price of Bulletproof LLC rekindles his rivalry with El Dorado, as he told me to call him. And obviously, Adam Cage will be watching this match with vested interest. And finally, last but certainly not least, we have the feud, the blood feud that has developed between Miles Silky Mercer of the ARC and the psychotic one, the squared circle psychopath, Chris Ward.
Oh, I can call that one. Us.
The ARC versus everyone. I have seen it on social media too many times. We also have the championship match. Who is going to claim the vacant title? Will it be Scott Spade of POW or will it be James Creed of SCW? That will be your main event. A lot of action this Saturday night in Shabance. You know, like I said, Jimmy Blaze is coming to Shabance for better or worse. If you've not checked out a show in Shabance, this would be a good one to do because there's a lot hanging in the balance this Saturday night for Arctic Takeover. Might be one of my final acts for this company. I believe in Terry Allen. And despite all of the heartbreak, I still want to believe in Hunter Payne. Saturday night is going to tell quite a tale.
Well, as you've already stated, I've got business with Miles. The ARC's got business. So that will be first and foremost what we take care of.
I hope that if you're backstage and you see 12 people surrounding me in the ring, you'll at least say something.
First of all, for you, you definitely know I'm coming. And I figure if you going down swinging, I'm going down swinging.
Yes. One man at SCW has my back. And
but
you know
the problem, but that's the problem, Steve. You just stated 12 on 2. Who else is gonna show up?
I don't know, but I like those.
Or more importantly, where's Hunter Payne?
Maybe I'm stupid, C-Red, but honestly, I believe this. As long as I have you, I don't need anybody else.
Well, as long as we get adjoining rooms at the hospital,
will you come visit
I feel
us?
the same way.
Will you bring us ice cream? Are you looking at Crizzle?
Yes.
You like him?
Steve, Rion's busy that night. I found out today. So he won't be there. Now maybe we can call him later to meet us at the ER.
You aren't coming to Shabance? You aren't coming to help us?
What happened?
You aren't coming?
Oh, where?
I thought you were coming.
To where?
Shabance.
When is that?
That is Saturday.
This Saturday?
This Saturday. Can you feel it?
We'll go 50-50. How about that?
I'll leave a ticket for you at the window.
He's not coming.
I'm gonna put the Morris Day ticket that I have for C-Red at Rocket. I'm gonna put it more. I know I'm gonna put Jerome. What?
Okay.
You know how the bird works. All right. All right. I would be, so let's turn from SCW that doesn't have my back to the company that always has my back because I was just renamed Chicago Style Wrestling GM.
Hey man, I'm holding a toast to you. Congratulations.
Thank you. Overwhelming was the response of the fans. I have never in my life, in the 8 years that going on 9 years that I've been doing this, has there ever been a Steve chant? And I got one from the CSW crowd Friday night. It was heartwarming and I appreciated it. And we had one hell of a show. And I need you, C-Red, to understand that you are needed at CSW because
you say that about everywhere.
You've got to come get your boys.
You say that.
Boys be causing trouble for everybody. And one of them's going to get hurt. Marche Rocket took a beating from Solomon Tupu on Friday night that I've never seen him take before. It hurt my feelings. Now, Marche and I have our differences, but for the most part, I'm a fan, as you well know. And what Solomon Tupu did to Marche Rocket Friday night made me angry. But Jazz was there, not on the card, but there to mock Marche Rocket. Sat down with me at commentary and made a mockery of the process during Marche's match. And then after it was over, as Marche was clearly injured, was still provoking all day. You need to come get your boys before somebody gets hurt.
I'll take it under consideration and advisement.
Talk to them. They need you. They need Uncle Red more than they've ever needed him before. And I'm talking about Shakara. They need you now more than they needed you at Shakara. More than when you came down that ramp and wiped out.
No, I needed them that night. But they didn't need me. But I understand what you're saying.
So that was a very, very high octane match. We also had the retaining of the CSW heavyweight title as Joey Avalon defeats Blanco Loco and retains the title. And the flip side, Sierra defeats Dream Girl Ellie. So my champion and his lady friend were very pleased with themselves at the end of that show. But I came out and made my first decree of 2022. So in February at Roses Are Red, which is our next show, Love will be in the air. And it's going to be a couple versus couple tag team match. The international superstars, Blanco Loco, Dream Girl Ellie versus Joey Jet Avalon, the champion, and the Evil Sierra. A team will win. And that winning team will name the stipulations for the return matches in March. So you've got Avalon Blanco 2, Dream Girl Ellie versus Sierra 2 in March. If Dream Girl Ellie and Blanco win, they can pick the stipulations for their singles matches. If Sierra and Avalon win, they pick the stipulations. So we've got a lot going on here. Also,
look at you being a GM. Look at you.
We do. You see, I'm not, maybe I'm not great in the ring. Maybe I'm not great on the microphone, as I was reminded today by a friend of mine, but I am a good general manager and I do what's.
Who told you that? I didn't tell you that.
I'm just saying that there are people out there that were hating on me more than Powell was. That's for sure. But that's okay. I'm okay. I'm a big boy. I've calloused up a long time ago. Thanks, Braun. Team Reckless, which was Heather Reckless, Hades X1X, those two champions, the Metro champ and the women's champ, teamed up with the Monster Cypher to battle the Limitless Superstars, Superstar Steve Boz, the Limit Breaker Sabin Gage, and a mystery partner that ended up being AJ Flyer. Team Reckless won. They worked over the final. It was a lot of chicanery in that match, but what it did do was, I think it set up a lot of animosity between Hades X1X and Superstar Steve Boz. There was a lot of yelling and a lot of bad feelings at the end of that match. So stay tuned.
Sounds like a kerfuffle.
It was a kerfuffle, not a kerzizzle, a kerfuffle.
Possibly a brouhaha.
Maybe even a slobber knocker or a Donnybrook. TJ Steele defeated Vic Capri in what was an amazing match. A, because nobody interfered. B, because they beat the shit out of each other, and C, they shook hands at the end of the match. Sportsmanship, camaraderie, longtime friendship, but spirited competition of what CSW is built on. That match was a banner. And then, C-Red, you spilled the beans earlier. The Dope Kings, CJ Esparza and Nick Brubaker, are the new CSW champions. Ding dong, the bitches are dead. Miller, Cody, gone. It took me a fucking calendar year to get them gone, but they're gone. And another thing this general manager does, I have suspended their rematch clause. I may reconsider my position as we get closer to Roses Are Red, because the fans have made a very strong case for them. But as it stands right now, there's no rematch. You guys can go kiss my ass.
Well, I already told you. I was there. I saw what Brubaker did in his match, even though he came up a little bit short. I've never seen that in his eyes. And so you weren't the general manager. So somebody in the office, I don't know, I guess they just felt, hey, well, let's put the Dope Kings together. No, you can't put nobody crazy like that in a match and expect, So again, when I didn't care, I put it like this. You could put Jesus Christ and Moses in that match and the Dope Kings would have came out winners.
Wow. Fast off to heaven, just like Moses on a motorbike. Thank you, Tears for Fears.
I'm just saying.
We've had one hell of a show. I love your passion, C-Red. I love Rion Vision.
I didn't do anything.
Even though I got my ass handed to me verbally tonight by many men, I still call this a great show. Anytime I get to share the screen with you two is great for me, and I love it each and every week. Join us next Tuesday night,
Weird Oreo,
where we will, a very weird, a reverse Oreo.
Are we going to be here?
Huh?
Will we be here?
We will. Well, I hope maybe we'll be doing it from our adjoining hospital bed. We'll find out this Saturday night in Shabans. Next week on this show,
Rion,
boy,
Rion, bring us real food. We don't want hospital food.
If we're doing the power hour from the hospital, don't fret. Our guests are going to make you forget that we're in pain, because next week on this show, for the first time in podcast television form, you will get to meet and greet with the entire casting couch right on this show. How about that? A magician, a Valentine, a hot rod daddy. Casting couch next week on the Power Hour.
It's going to be crowded.
It's going to be crowded. It's going to be, and hopefully it will be in Rion Vision next week. We never know when Rion's coming, but we're always glad when he's here. On behalf of the urban sensation, the mighty C-Red, and on behalf of the Real Deal, former podcast extraordinaire, check out the old episodes of The Morning After. This is Rion Skills. I'm Steve. We'll see you next week. Thank you for watching. And Jimmy Blaze, see you Saturday, bitch. Good night, everybody.